Recording this video September 23rd, 2014, and on June 12th of this year, I made a video showing how Crude was putting in a top, and it was about to roll over into a new bear trend. And this is that video, so I'll link to this video to kind of give you an idea of what I was looking at for the high that it was putting in. Well, now I'm calling for a low and trading that low, and I'll go into that now. So let me take the time to show you why now I believe we've made a low in Crude and should be getting a decent push up. Well, we've had a decent push up now, and I'll go into the details of the trade that I took. So this is a continuous chart of crude oil, a weekly, using TradeStation. And you can see what this area is. This low that we're at right now is a confluence zone of a couple of different trend channels and fibs. So if you can see essentially what's happened here using this trend line, we've broken out of it here, pulled back down to this trend line, bounced off of it, broke through again, pulled up to the top of this trend line, which was one of the major reasons why I was calling for a high there, among other things. And then now we've pulled back down to the top side of this downtrend channel, downtrend line, okay, which is also 61.8% extension of this move here, and then a 38.2 of this move. Okay, and it's also the 50% retracement of this move from this low to this high, so we're right at the 50% line. Okay, so we're gaining some traction here. I don't know if it's going to be a major reversal in that we're going to come back up and break this high. I'm just expecting a move up into, this area right in here, maybe this previous high right in this area. Okay, so this is the crude oil weekly continuous contract. Now this is the daily continuous contract, and you can see we're right in this kind of a triangle. So the high was from basically these two highs connecting a trend line, gave us this high, and then connecting from this low to the lowest close gave us this low, and then now this low. Okay, so that's a daily crude oil continuous contract. This is a 30-minute continuous contract. You can see we've broken out of this downtrend channel, pulled back to it now, and now we're starting to get a push up. Okay, let me go into now the weekly unadjusted contract. So this is an unadjusted contract, and you can see this was the major high at 147. I think it went as high as 148, 149, and then down to 33. I think it went a little bit lower than that actually. Now we're right at 50% of this entire move. Okay, so this was the actual move, unadjusted. Now we're also at the 61.8% retracement of this move from this low to this high. Okay, and then we're also obviously at the bottom of this uptrend line. And you can see from the high here to the high here, that was the previous high that I was calling for. Okay, so that was one of the major reasons why. And like I said, this is the unadjusted contract, and you can see here that large amount of volume right there at the bottom, right at the major confluence zone. Okay, so we've kind of broken through it a little bit, this uptrend channel, and I wouldn't be surprised if we now bounce off of this area very strongly, at least for a little bit. I don't know that we're going to go to new highs, but think about this for a minute. So we've had a higher low here, higher high, higher low, lower high, but then higher low, another lower high, but again another higher low. Okay, then at this point we broke the previous high. We're still making higher lows, but now we have a lower high and a lower low. So some people are expecting we're going into a bear market at this point. So what many people might expect would be some kind of a move, maybe up around here, and then make a new wave down. Okay, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe we'll go to new highs and we'll start a new bull market. But what we could expect is at least some kind of a move such as this, some kind of a bounce off of this area. Alright, so that's what I'm hoping for. Now, this is the GSCI S&P index of crude oil. Okay, and here we haven't quite made a lower low. We've made a lower high, but not quite a lower low, and we're also at the 50% retracement of this entire move, and at the bottom of this median line, the lower channel of the pitchfork. Okay, so kind of an interesting spot. We should see some kind of a bounce here. And this is what it looks like on the daily using NinjaTrader. On the daily continuous contract. So we have bounced off of this area with high volume. And then we've pulled back down, making a higher low, and then we gapped up today. Okay, so I am expecting now a new push. Probably taking out this high right here. So that's what I'm looking to do, is take out that high. And if we can take out that high, then who knows what will happen. Maybe that will be the A, B, C correcting this perfect 5 waves down. So that's the real issue here. We do have a beautiful 5 waves down. So either this is going to be a corrective move and we'll just have an A, B, C, or we're going to go into a new 5-wave push higher and break this high. We'll just have to wait and see, but I'm essentially holding from this low right here for this push up. Okay, and then the following part to this video is going step by step through the trade that I initiated back here at this low. Actually right here at this low. Let me just turn it on, and then exited half of it right here. Okay, so the subsequent 20-25 minutes of this video will go into why I took this trade and my thought process throughout today. On the daily chart, we're pulling back down into this area where once we hit, we have the volume come in and it's pushed back up. So yeah, this is the area at which I want to buy. So we've broken out of the channel filled, and now we pulled back to it. So I'm going to put on
order pending. Order pending.
2 more there. Hopefully it can pull back a little bit.
Order pending. Order pending.
This is it right here though. And I'll go through all of this. So it's broken out and it's pulled back to it. Okay, so I went ahead and got in, realizing it most likely was not going to pull back. You can see running from the high of the day to the end of this pivot, which I'm not using this pivot because then price breaks through it here, breaks through it there, so I push it out. I use that pivot, which gives me perfectly the swing low here, the next swing high, and then the swing low at the midpoint here where I have this volume divergence. So we're coming to the end of this pattern. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So I'm using the actual high right after the open, and then this high. Alright, and that's, you can see we've broken out of that downtrend channel and then pulled back to the top of it. I was trying to load a daily chart, but normally my limit to buy would have been essentially right there at the top of that line. So, you know, waiting for it to pull back, kiss it, and then turn back up. So now it's turned back up. This is the trade. Let me just go ahead and cancel
Order canceled.
that contract. Put in a stop.
Order pending. Order pending.
So let me just go through and list, kind of show you all of the different reasons why I think this is a very strong low. I mean, first of all, you can see that I'm considering this as the first higher low. So this is the first place where the trend is likely to turn up, right? Right from there. Now, what is this line? This line is the close from September 11th. So what these are naked open, high, low, close. All right, so if naked being, you know, after the next day, did it ever come back and touch this level? So this level hasn't been touched after the close on September 11th. It's really September the 10th until now. So this has been a naked close. Just like this has been technically the naked open from Friday. Yes, it traded through the open, but we're not considering it naked until the subsequent day. So that's how this acted as resistance here. You can see this was the prior day's low, acted as support here for the pre-market. Just for a moment here, I think it reversed maybe 17 ticks. And then this, you know, closing through this prior close on the 15th, pulling back to it, and then coming down now to this close. So that's just one. I'm going to put on one more contract if it will come down and fill it, and then for a total of 5. So what else do we have at this low? Well, we have RSI divergence. I don't put a tremendous amount of faith in divergence, but when it's combined with other methods, I do give it weight. So we've got the RSI, the stochastic divergence, we've got the volume divergence after a churn bar for this low. So this is most likely the low of the day. So we've got that going in our favor. Now this is probably the most important part of this entire thing. Why is this the low? And why am I considering this the low and waiting for this area? Well, just to run through it, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down. Okay, and here you can see from this high to this high, we've broken out of that now. And being the beginning of this 11th November contract, we have pulled down directly to the top of this trend channel where it meets the 78.6 retracement of this wave from high to low, and then the extension from this high to this low, and then back to this high. It's the 61.8% extension. So quite the spot to make a major reversal back up. How major, I don't know, but I would think we could get back at least to this high, or just below it. So I would expect to see something like this, at least back to the top of this channel. So this channel is from this low to this low, which also intersects perfectly in that spot. So everything's kind of coming together right there. And then we have relative volume divergence as well. So that's one more thing. Okay, so it's turned up.
Order
get
canceled.
It's one tick away, but almost. It's worth a shot.
Order canceled.
So there's my stop. Break even +2. And we'll let it ride. Probably for the next day or two. I'm sure this one will hold overnight. Here we're at the developing volume point of control for the day. Okay, so it has started to push higher now. So we do have a nice clean reversal off of that area. Now what could happen, obviously anything can happen, but what we could see would be something like this to come down and then go overnight. But who knows what's going to happen overnight. I'm going to put my stop now down below this low rather than keeping it so tight, because I want to have a chance of getting at least a push to here, but hopefully up higher above this previous high. but we want to see it get at least to this area, which hopefully we will see sometime tomorrow or the next day. We've run back into the point of control here. This is a composite, volume profile composite. So we have made this set of 5 waves back up, and now we've made a first wave back down, so maybe we can go back up, then maybe back down, and then get another push up. We'll see what happens, but for right now, I'm going to hold it. I missed the exit here, so now I'm going to hold it with a stop behind here for now. You can see this was my target right here, and we did make it up there first thing this morning. So missed that initial exit. I would have been getting back in somewhere down in here. So you can see the volume coming in here at this perfect low, perfect V bottom. And this is usually what we want to see when we have a major reversal, where we want to just keep on climbing up right through this VWAP. So it's not only the point of control today, it's the point of control in the composite. It's a low volume node from yesterday. Yeah, when you've had so much volume traded at this one area and it's very little retrace, that's usually about as far as it's going to go, and then it'll just break right through it. So we'll see what happens. Let me just erase all of the trend channels so you can see the pitchfork. See this? This is perfect. We broke through it, pulled back to it, went up to the upper end, and then right back to the median line once again. And now it looks like we may actually bust up out of it. So this is clearly the channel that is being respected. I mean, you can see how perfect that is here. Up to here, back down to here. So maybe now, either we're going to get another push down and then back up, or we're just going to go from here. Okay, so we have broken out, but we're right at the top here now of this fib confluence zone, top of the trend channel. If we can break this now, then maybe we can keep running up, but it looks like it's going to stall out here for at least for a little bit. So quite the risk to reward on this trade. We are at yesterday's high right now. You can see we've bounced off the pre-market high from yesterday as well. Not quite making it all the way up to it. Okay, so right now this is looking pretty bad for my position. But the thing is I am anticipating this to be a triangle. And we're making the E wave down now. So either we just bottom now, or we're going to bottom maybe right in this area here. Somewhere right in here. Or else we already have. Okay, so now let's do this. Let's just erase all of that. So there's the triangle. And most likely we'll find support. You can see the volume, the buying pressure coming in there, closing well off of its lows. So I would expect this to go higher. Once we break this high, I'll probably take some off either at this low volume node here, or once we get into this high volume area here. But I'll probably take some off right here. At least one I'll take off, maybe two. And you can see what that looks like here on the 1, the 3, and the 5. So it would appear that we found some traction right now. Okay, so now it's made the bottom. So that's the A, B, C, D, E, perfect triangle. So as you can see, you can trade wave patterns. It's quite easy to spot them once you know what to look for. So again, perfect triangle, correcting this move up in a 5-wave sequence. And we're looking to get up into this area, so let's kind of, yeah, perfect, right to the low volume node. So 9203 is where I'm looking to get out.
Order pending.
That was half.
Order pending.
Okay, so I had my limit order sitting here at 9202 or something, then I had to restart Ninja, and right when I open it back up, it's, you know, gone through my limit and then pulled back, and now I can't. Okay, here we go. So now I can move it. I think this is a good spot to get out of these two contracts. Maybe we can go up and tag that again, but you can see here on the range chart we do have this 5-wave structure back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with something I've been working on, which has to do with volume per second. So this is most likely a top here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get out of this contract, these two contracts at 9201.
Order filled.
There we go. So I got filled on half of my position, and now I can hold it to see what will happen. So let's give it some room. As you can see, that was my target right here at the top of this channel. So we've got another hour before the close. I would think it's probably going to come back and fill in some of this area here. Okay, so that was indeed a good exit. And we have pulled right back down, and guess what this point right here is? Let's see. 61.8% retracement. Exactly. Nice little volume divergence on the relative volume for that low. You know, seeing this live, I would have obviously bought those two that I sold here. Would have bought those back, but I wasn't here. So now it looks like, I mean, this is kind of ominous looking, this ABC. Who knows what's going to happen after this, you know? I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to have my, I'm just going to leave my stop where it's at for right now. So I'll go over all the reasons why I exited here in a moment, but you can see when we did hit this spot after making the triangle, of course we made one more push up, like, you know, is so typical, which moved the exact distance as it normally does, or as it would. And this is the breakout of this high. So now we have a higher high, and this is where so many traders go long at. So many breakout traders go long, and then they have to hold through this pullback. So this would be the place to actually get long once it's, you know, it's broken through this, and then here it's pulled back to the top of this downtrend channel. So perfectly here, right? So that's the spot, which was also exactly 61.8 of this wave, right there, perfectly. Okay, so now let's have a look at this high and see what all's, you know, all the reasons why we wanted to get out right there. So if this is a 5-wave pattern, I mean, a triangle is really almost always a 4th wave. It's either a 4th wave or a B wave. Let's assume in this case it's a 4th wave. Alright, what is the 5th wave? What size is the 5th wave usually? Well, it's usually 100% of the 1st wave. So if this is the top of the 3rd here, this would be the bottom of the 4th here, after an A, B, C, D, E. triangle progression. So what would be the first wave? Well, the first wave would have to be that high right there. And then wave 2 would have to be this tiny little pullback right here. It's really the only choice we would have. So let's measure it out and see what it is. And of course, this is all done in real time. So that's wave 1 to wave 4. That's our target for wave 5, and that was my target. And I'll show you why else that was my target now. So that's a 100% extension for wave 5, which was perfect today. Okay, so let's now look at the other areas. Of course, we have this, where we do a parallel of this line to this high. And that's where my limit order was sitting. But like I said, when I restarted my computer, I restarted it and it had gone through the limit. Of course, with a sim account, it's not, the limit orders aren't sitting on the exchange. So then, obviously, you see this massive bar, this massive volume here, typical of a blow-off. Right when it breaks out, we're running all of these stops. People are going long. People that were short are getting stopped out. So there's a lot of contracts trading hands right there. I would think that, well, let's test it and see, but I would think the majority of the volume on this bar would be from that portion of it to the top. But let's have a look and see. Okay, so there it is. There's the bar right there. And you can see, here's the high. It's breaking the high right there. And then all of the volume, the majority of the volume on this bar is traded right in this zone. Right in there. So right when it gets about 5 ticks above this high, then you have all of that volume changing hands right there. Right in that spot. Flooding the market with all of their stop orders, all the longs once we're breaking this high, and also the previous high back here, right? So that's kind of what happened there, and you can clearly see that. So this was the trade from this higher low up to the swing high here, and then I should have added back those two contracts right here, but I'm kind of glad I didn't now. So I'm just going to hold this and see what happens. We'll see how this little overnight pattern is going to play out. Usually overnight there's not a really clear structure, but we've just got to wait and see what this is going to turn into. If we start to move up from here, then that would of course be a good sign, but hopefully we don't break this low. If we break this low, then I'll probably get stopped out. My stop is right around this area right now. I always think it's interesting to run these swing profiles. You can see that where we find support, it's not only the 61.8, but it's also right at the top of this volume distribution right here. So we came back, we filled in this low volume node area right here, and then we found support right in here. So pretty interesting. I love this tool. It's a great tool. And of course this is after the fact. I mean, I didn't trade this low. I wasn't even here, so I think this is really the last chart that I need to show. So what was this high? It was also the 27.2% expansion of this swing. So we have clearly the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what is the fifth wave? But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and that's obvious, so that was the negative 27.2, or just adding 27.2% to this 5-wave structure. That gave us the high there. It's also a little bit through the median line of this median line. The end of wave 4 was the lower channel of the median line here. So as I was saying, a good place to be getting long on the other charts. And then here, just breaking slightly the September 19th close, and then getting the flood of stops being run and long orders being put in. And then what do? We trap those traders and we push it back down. And then once it starts going down, then they exit or stop out and push it down further. And that's pretty much it for this trade. Now I'm still holding 2 contracts from back here, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But for now, I'll go ahead and render this video and then just add to it when I take off the other 2 contracts.